A major snowstorm is beginning to unfold across portions of the Midwest and Northern Plains, and this will spread into the Ohio Valley and eventually into the Northeast over the coming days. And right behind that, we have another winter storm that will be on its way. In today's video, I break down what your area can expect, whether you guys are going to be seeing snow, ice, or just rain, and what totals you could expect. Here's a look at current radar at the time of filming this video. And we have tons of snow across a very large area. And we are going to end up seeing a change over down here, like south of this line, to rain later. But we are still seeing heavy snow right now back here in places like Springfield, Illinois, St. Louis. Over here in Indianapolis, the snow is really starting to push in. And then back up here in Iowa, we are seeing snow continue to fall, and this is eventually going to move out by later today, and we are just seeing crazy totals fall out of this. As we already have back here in places like Iowa, we already have a good 4 to 6 inches on the ground, with another 4 to 6 expected to fall. And here's a look at what this system could do. And as you can tell here, it looks like snow totals are going to be able to rise as we are going to get heavier snow as we head throughout the next couple hours before it lightens up as it moves to the east. And then we're going to end up having the lake effect snow kick in. So that is another thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on, is all that lake effect snow. And here's a look at the totals that we could get out of this on the latest HRRR. And this is not accounting for what has already fallen. This is accounting for what is going to fall on top of this. We're looking at another 7 inches, widespread 7 to 9 inches, with isolated 10 to 12 possible. And even back here in Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan, we're looking at a widespread 5 to 7, with isolated 8 to 9 being possible. So this is by means nowhere close to being over. And on the winter storm severity index, we do have a moderate, or I guess it is major impact zone along places like Chicago and then back up near Milwaukee. So we do have some pretty big winter impacts forthcoming. Now, as I was saying, we have another storm system coming here soon, but here's our current system on the GFS model. Widespread rain and widespread snow is falling. That's going to move off into the northeast, and when that moves off into the northeast, we're really going to see that lake effect snow start to kick in. And I do think we have lake effect snow warnings in effect right now. But our next system is really dependent on this system right here. How fast this moves out is going to be a huge factor. And another factor is how far to the west or east this sets up. Because depending on how far west, it could be a make or break back here. And anywhere from here sets up further to the east, it could be over here. So there are multiple factors, and I'm not putting anything into stone. I'm not setting anything into stone until we do get our higher resolution short-term models in, more than just the NAM model, which we will take a look at. But until we fully get some more models, I'm not saying anything is going to occur. Here's the latest GFS though, and it has this snow up here in portions of Kansas and Nebraska, and then it has a bit of Gulf moisture getting pulled up and leading to some ice and snow back there in Arkansas, North Texas, and parts of northern and eastern Oklahoma. That moves off, and we could get a bit of an icier system back here in Arkansas. And then as that pushes to the east, it's going to turn into a major snowstorm, potentially a nor'easter. We're still trying to fine-tune all these details, so take everything with a grain of salt for now. This is the European model and its latest run, and it is a bit different. It is showing a widespread snowpack all the way back into portions of central and western Oklahoma. So some light, but definitely could accumulate into some snow. So we are watching that system closely as well. Here's a look at the European model and some of the snowfall totals. And you can tell even down into Oklahoma City we're getting about a trace or a dusting. And then back here in portions of Kansas, up into portions of Nebraska, and even South Dakota, we're going to be looking at a widespread 1 to 4 inches being possible. Like I said, take all these totals with a grain of salt, because until this first snowstorm moves out, we're really not going to 100% know what this next system is going to do. This is a look at the NAM model as we head into next week. And this is something that I found quite interesting on our latest NAM runs, is it looks like we're going to get some moisture further to the west than we first anticipated. But it's going to be a matter of can it hold together. As you can tell, we have sleet and snow back here in central and western Oklahoma moving back. But then we have our heavy system back there in Nebraska and Kansas. And then we may get some back end snow back here in Oklahoma, but right now the NAM does not really like that idea. It is on line with our icy system back here in portions of Arkansas, but it's kind of more rain than it has been in the past runs. But like I said, just make sure you're staying tuned, as I'm going to be providing updates potentially twice a day. Here's a look at the latest snowfall totals we could get out of this. And NAM is in pretty good agreement with the European. A pretty widespread 1 to 4 inches being possible. Isolated around 5 to 6 being possible. And then a trace back here into Oklahoma is going to be possible, is what it's showing. So it's definitely something that we have to keep an eye on. I will say totals back to the west have been going up here in Oklahoma. So it is something that we do need to watch, because originally it was kind of just across this area. It's starting to shift a bit more to the west and some higher totals back there. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on it. This is a look at all the total freezing rain that we could get. Could get a bit of freezing rain back here in, I guess this is around the Texas Panhandle into North Texas, and then far southwestern Oklahoma. And then a bit of freezing rain in far eastern Oklahoma all the way back into portions of central and eastern Arkansas. So we're watching that closely. Around a tenth of an inch of ice is going to be possible. And I do think we definitely could see some winter weather advisories get issued across portions of Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. Now, I'm not ruling anything out, like maybe some winter storm warnings across this area. We could maybe get some winter weather advisories across this area, but we're just going to have to keep a very close eye on this. And this is the GEFS and what type, and this is the total snowfall that the GEFS is expecting. And it's kind of disagreeing with quite a few of the models. Widespread 1 to 3, but it's further to the east. And then it is a sharp cutoff, it looks like, for snow back here in Oklahoma, as you can tell. But higher totals back there in Oklahoma and Arkansas. So it's something that we're watching closely. This is the chance of seeing 1 inch of snow. And you can tell here, it is going to be near 100% across portions of Missouri into Illinois through portions of Kansas. But we do see a very widespread chance of seeing 1 inch of snow. And then this is the chance of seeing 4 inches of snow. And you can tell here, very, very low chances, really about a 1 in 3 chance. But it's still a chance, so it's not going to be impossible. And the winter storm severity index back here is what I wanted to look at. We are going to be seeing some tiny moderate impact areas, and even far back here in portions of eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas, we're seeing some moderate impacts, but very tiny areas there. But we do see a widespread limited impact zone, and then a widespread minor impact zone that we're having to keep a very close eye on. So I'll keep you updated with the latest, and if anything big changes that we need to provide a new video on, we will do that. Just wanted to let you guys know that we will be live on the channel here in about an hour and a half So make sure you have notifications turned on to get notified if and when we do go live. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy today's video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.